Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Connect with KT. I'm using an awesome program called Anchor. There are a few things that I wanted to tell you guys about why you should choose Anchor if you are interested in starting a podcast. It is free. That is the number one best thing. It's free. They have creation tools where you can record, you can edit your podcast, you can add music, you can change it up. You have a trailer that you can add to it, and you can, best of all, is you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your computer, and I personally choose most of the time to do it on my phone. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. And the best part is you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. And it really is the best place and only place to start a podcast. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Connect with KT. Today we are going to talk about cannabis. Cannabis is a very, very love of mine, Mary Jane. I do love me some Mary Jane. I do like to smoke. I like CBD. I like cannabis. I like it all. I chose to go on marijuanamoment.net. This is affiliated with Weed Maps. Weed Maps is a great resource for finding dispensaries, places that have where you can get your medical marijuana card, all kinds of information, places that they'll link you to articles. Marijuana Moment, I thought this was perfect. I wanted to try something different on this podcast and go through the website and kind of see what was interesting, what would stand out to me. And I also read a couple of the articles, so I wanted to talk about those a little bit. The only thing that I wanted to start with was just, keep in mind, and I always tell people this, I'm not a doctor. I am very much into research. I do consider myself a researcher because when I look up information, I always relate it to articles. I always go back and not necessarily just look at all, look at data, but I like to look at different, other people's opinions, what other people's thoughts are about it. It's more about that for me than, like I said, the actual paperwork and data and things like that. So I wanted to mention that, I'm not a medical doctor. I personally have not grown weed. I have trim, I've done the process. I understand the process. It's been in my life for over 15 years. I know multiple people that do grow, multiple growers, lots of things about cannabis. I've done quite a bit of research. I've done a lot of research on it with kids and autism, and I've also done research on how it helps sleep, how it helps anxiety, how it can spike anxiety, all those kinds of things. So, I'm not uneducated. I keep myself educated on these things. I found this one to be very beneficial. So the first one that pops up is politics. Politics is not my favorite subject. I will not choose to talk about politics only for the simple fact that there's a lot of controversy over multiple things, and I don't like to dig into that because I don't want people to think I'm on this side or that side, because I'm just not about that. That's not what life is about. So just I'll give you a quick little overview if you guys are interested. There's this article: Louisiana lawmakers send medical marijuana expansion and cannabis banking bills to governor's desk. Side note, Louisiana lawmakers sent bills to significantly expand the state's medical marijuana program and to allow cannabis businesses to access banks. Okay. New congressional resolution condemns police brutality and war on drugs. Okay, I'm not going to get too much into the negative stuff. We're going to be all positive and give something that we find interesting, right? Not going to make this too complicated. Joe Biden's new disability plan includes boosting medical marijuana research. That is definitely great because that has been pushed to the side for too long. Federal judge gives Arkansas marijuana legalization activists a boost with signature gathering ruling. That's good, I think. Scientists and veterans file a lawsuit challenging DEA's marijuana rescheduling denials. Alrighty. USDA approves hemp plans for U.S. Virgin Islands and 4 Indian tribes. Very cool. That's all we're going to touch on with that. Science and health. Proof of marijuana use discovered at ancient biblical site in Israel. That's really dope. I read this article. They found this, traced it back to 750 BC. An ancient biblical tribe in Israel likely used marijuana to produce hallucinogenic effects as part of cultic rituals, which is it's very interesting. I find that stuff so interesting. Culture and science are like literally what I thrive off of. I love culture and I love science, and I think that is like the coolest thing to know that literally they have been using this plant since that long ago. How cool is that? So, THC-infused semen can be a side effect of frequent marijuana use, study finds. Many people have had to take a urine test for cannabis, perhaps as a job requirement, using the popular procedure. So, this one, I read that in that article too. There was a couple things. So, as they can find the Delta-9 THC, that main psychoactive ingredient. They can find that in your semen. And there is, the biggest reason that people even brought this up is because women were interested, if I smoke, is that going to lower the chances of me getting pregnant? Or if my husband smokes, is that going to lower the chances of us getting pregnant as well? Because I know, and I've heard, I'm sure a lot of you have heard that, or that myth saying that if you smoke, it lowers your semen count, which honestly, I can't even say that that's false because there's not enough. They just even said in the article, there's just not enough evidence to even prove whether you smoke 3 times a day to once a week, to see if there's any correlation between not getting pregnant and things like that. And there's just not, they just don't have enough. Like I said, states with medical marijuana laws saw a 20% drop in some opioid prescriptions. That is really cool. Read that one a little bit. So they went down, and the fact that they were noticing that people were getting educated. People were getting educated that this is really taking my pain away, and not only is it taking my pain away, but it's really making me if you had stomach problems or anything else, it was taking those other problems away. So people are starting to talk. And now that, people have been home, they've been able to read, listen, all kinds of things, listen to read articles. They have the opportunity to try these things, and people are now trying it. So that's why they're seeing, they're starting to see this drop. And also, I wanted to say that a lot of these articles and all this stuff is all within the last 5 days. The proof of the marijuana being discovered, that was just a day ago, and all this other stuff's between 3 and 5 days. And then a couple of these other ones are from a couple weeks ago, but it's still pretty relevant. So the culture, rapper who owns looted marijuana dispensary says justice is more important than business. That's how he feels, then that's how he feels. Missouri lawmakers defeat amendment to require they consume marijuana before voting. I tapped into that article as well. That one was pretty interesting. So the guy, I actually want to go back into this because this was so funny, and I actually giggled, and I thought to myself, more people really need to think like this in politics, because it would really loosen the vibe on things. This guy named Kyle Jaeger, I'm so sorry if I say his name wrong. So this is what he said. This was so awesome. So the McDaniel told Marijuana Moment in a phone interview that this time of year, lawmakers tend to pile on amendments to bills, right? The current healthcare-focused legislation has a whole bunch of crap that's been attached to it, he said, and so he saw an opportunity to get everyone to chill out and get a little chuckle. I loved that so much. Get everyone to chill out and get a little chuckle. That's really what everybody needs to do, is chill out and get a little chuckle, right? That is such a great idea. The marijuana bumper stickers, no thanks, drivers say in national survey. So I do know a lot of people, there's still a stigma about marijuana, that it's a drug. It's, it causes you to have the psychoactive effects they think are, just not right for children, I am so sorry, for, teenagers and younger adults that choose to smoke cannabis. They say that kids are doing it for the wrong reasons. And then, like I said, there's just a lot of stigma around it. People are not educated enough on it. And unfortunately, some people are just too close-minded to listen, and some people are very open-minded in listening. I mean, I've convinced, and this is no offense to anybody of that age, but I've convinced, elderly women to start taking cannabis, and it's just because I educated them on it, hands down. So, let's see, the business, I think that this is the last part of it, so this is going to be, I'm wrapping this up pretty quickly, so I'm pretty proud of myself. I thought this was going to be a little bit longer. So the business part, let's see, Oregon marijuana sales spiked during pandemic, but officials expect market to mellow. So I do understand where they're coming from. The reason, what I think, and I think what others, are believing too, is that this was a time for people that were going to be sitting at home. They were going to be educating themselves. Maybe they did get fired and they knew they were going to have the time to sit at home. Or maybe it was, being at home with their kids, or being home with people they are, their family members, or they're just not used to being at home because they're at work. That is real life. And maybe this was just an opportunity for them, and it's natural, it's a plant, and it's just getting talked about more and more. So the interest is just spiking, and especially because people have heard, with your immune system, it's good to be smoking, or not smoking, but consuming cannabis in some way, shape, or form, whether it's CBD or THC. So I can see, where that's coming from. And then as far as mellow goes, I mean, people are going back to work. Really, that's my conclusion on that one. Company recalls injectable CBD product following FDA warning letter. That one was basically just they tried to do an injectable and saying that if you're going to put the CBD, if you're going to inject a CBD, it's going right into your bloodstream and it's not going to where it really needs to go, which does make sense because if you're consuming it, and I talked about this in my earlier one with your gut health, when you're consuming the CBD, it likes going in your stomach and it likes spreading to the parts that it needs to go to. Your body loves that CBD and it's soaking in and taking it where it needs to go and it's spreading. And then when you're putting it in your bloodstream, it's almost like, how is it benefiting you? And it does say for pain. I do understand that, but, the topicals seem to be more. And even so, the topicals seem to be more convincing for people to take rather than getting injected, because I know damn well I would not want to get injected. I will stick with the topicals, thank you. FDA notifies public about recall of CBD product that tested high for lead. I'm not even going to get into that one because that is just negative news. All of this was pretty positive, so we will stick with that. And I think that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of news. If you have any questions, anything like that, you guys know you can always connect with me, connect with KT. That's what I made this for. I enjoy this so much, coming out on here and talking with you guys. It's really getting, this is exciting and fun adventure, and I want you guys to be a part of it. I really appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a great day.